If you live in a Vietnamese city, your daily experience of sustainable development is concrete. Flooded streets, traffic jams, air pollution, and a lack of green space. These problems are shaped much more by local authorities than by national slogans about green growth. I analyzed the conflicts and limits that the local governments in Vietnam face as the lowest tier in the multi-level system, and what it means for the country's ability to achieve the sustainable development goals. Vietnam is a unitary state, but since the Đổi Mới reforms, it has decentralized a large share of public spending and investment to provinces, districts, and communes. Subnational governments now implement a significant proportion of total public expenditure and public investment, according to reviewing by World Bank and Government of Vietnam. Local governments are responsible for land use planning, basic infrastructure, environmental protection, and social services. These domains are central to sustainable development. However, key decisions on budgets, borrowing, personnel, and major projects remain strongly influenced by the center, which creates tensions between national goals and local realities. The first set of constraints is political and administrative. Provincial people's committees and lower-level authorities are formally elected, but important decisions about top positions and slot investment projects are heavily shaped by higher-level party body and central ministry. Students of decentralization in Vietnam describe this as the principal agent's problem. Local governments are accountable first for delivering growth targets, even when projects cause environmental damage or land disputes. Industrial zones and real estate projects on former farmland may help provinces meet output targets, but they can increase flood risk, reduce green space, and displace communities who have little influence over decisions. The second constraint is fiscal. Local governments manage a large share of expenditure but depend heavily on shared taxes and transfer controlled by the center. Public expenditure bureaus estimate that local spending accounts for a sizable share of GDP, financed mainly from these central resources. This dependence makes long-term investment in green infrastructure, public transport, or climate adaptation difficult, and pushes many provinces to rely on land use conversion and property development, which can undermine environmental goals and generate intense conflict over land. The third constraint relates to capacity. Evidence for the provincial competitiveness index and firm-level studies shows large variations in governance qualities between provinces and links better local governance to better outcomes for businesses and citizens. Yet, many local administrations still lack staff trained in climate risk assessment, integrated urban planning or data analysis, and responsibilities for land, construction, transport, and environment are spread across departments that do not always cooperate effectively. Limited opportunities for meaningful citizens and civil society participation further weaken downwards accountability. From a governance for sustainable development perspective, these conflicts and limits prevent local governments from fully contributing to SDG 11 on sustainable cities and SDG 16 on effective, accountable institutions. Reforms need to clarify the division of responsibility between central and local levels, deepen transparent and predictable fiscal decentralization, and investment in local capacity and participation. When citizens can hold local authorities to account, local government can move from being the weakest link to become active partners in building resilient, inclusive and sustainable cities.